Say hello to a common lemon.
Oh, that's what you are! I wonder why I couldn't get the internet on this thing.
And if you look at this one, this is about 10 years old.
Oh, I think I've got one that's about 10 years old as well. Just down here. What do you reckon I should do with it?
If you're married, if you've got a partner, or if you've got children, place it in their bedrooms.
I like your style, practical joker. And they'll come to me and they'll say, oh, my room smells. And then I'll say to them,
you need to cleanse that room.
Absolutely. Anyway, you get a reprieve this week because I've met somebody this week who is far more deserving of my attention. Take a look at this one here.
You guys, this is as close as you're going to come to seeing me on YouTube.
Wow, that's an interesting look. What made you go for that?
I thought this really made my skin tone glow.
You know what? I think it does. I'm going to try that. Just say something else and I'll slap the makeup on.
This is Mary to Earth. Do you copy?
You know what? On second thoughts, this was a dumb idea. What other dumb ideas have you got?
I want you guys to check out Sheeps and Eats channel.
So, Einstein here has been on Sheeps and Neeps channel. Now, for those of you that don't know, Sheeps and Neeps and also another channel called The Two Peters are pretending to believe that water isn't made of hydrogen and oxygen. I've got a little analogy here for you. I like this. Right, to explain why. So, I have a bag of potatoes here. It's quite heavy. I've got a bottle of oil here. It's fairly heavy. Now, if I was to weigh the potatoes and weigh the oil, they weigh much more than this bag of crisps. So therefore, crisps are not made of potato and they're not fried in oil. So, if you substitute the potatoes for oxygen and the oil for hydrogen, you pretty much get a good idea of the analogy that Peter and Pete and Sheeps and Neeps are going for. Now, I have educated them in previous videos in this series on moles and percentage mass, but they're just not yet ready to understand even how to tie the shoelaces, I suppose. But it wasn't really that analogy that convinced this woman that water is an element. It took something far more complex than that, something far deeper than that. It simply just took the mention of the name Henry Cavendish.
So this Henry Cavendish guy is the guy who also said that H2O is water, that water is made of H2O, these elements. And Sheeps and Eats has a lot of videos going over this, so I want you to check it out. I'm not going to try to explain it, I'm just going to leave links.
So that's it, that's all it took. All it took was a mention of Henry Cavendish and the fact that he believed water was hydrogen and oxygen. And this woman is absolutely convinced that that's not the case. So convinced that she'd make YouTube videos trying to spread the word about this truth that we've all got here. And then she's got the temerity to come onto my channel and tell me that I need to be doing real science like Peter and Pete and like Sheeps and Neeps, and that I'm closed-minded and I need to be asking questions. You see, the problem with people like this brain fart is that they hear things and then they just believe them. And then they accuse other people of not being free thinkers. And they accuse other people of not doing their research. It's incredible. But when we look further into her channel, we start to realise the mentality of people like this and how dangerous them being allowed to use social media is. Let's have a look at some of the other videos that this individual has on her channel. So the first video is this one, mocking the death of Stephen Hawking. Because while he's out there using big words and furthering mankind, she's stuck at home still trying to figure out which hand to wipe her own arse with. And the second video I saw was this one. I'll tell you a bit more about it once you've seen this clip.
I'm putting a clip, and then if you like it, go ahead and watch the whole thing and it goes over all the information.
New diseases are being invented all the time.
So essentially, this is a video claiming that mental health issues and mental illness isn't real. Just invented. And unfortunately, there are also a number of videos like this, anti-Semitic videos that support the theory that the Holocaust never happened. And surprise, surprise, was in itself another conspiracy. No doubt because she just heard that from somebody. So this woman is called Mary at Sea. And as you'll see when you look at her channel, although she's happy to show her family members, she always hides her own face and always speaks in a very soft, quiet voice, almost as if she's embarrassed about the stupid things that she's saying. Now, she came to my attention because she come to my channel to criticise me, as I've already said. And I'm now going to give the science response, if you like, the bit of science that I really should be including in all these videos. If you are happy with the science that proves water is made of hydrogen and oxygen, skip on in a second. Because these people are growing. The number of people that believe water is not made of hydrogen and oxygen, or at least the number of people who pretend to believe that, is growing. And we need a word for it. When I look on the flat earth debates, I know that flat earthers call people like me, you know, a globe head or a globe tart even. And I know that, you know, or globies, and I know that we call them flatards or whatever. What names should we give to these people that believe water is actually an element in its own right? Now, if you want that in the comment section, maybe vote and comment on each other's suggestions, I'll start using that term in the next videos. So that's my challenge to you. What can we come up with? Let's see if we can get it trending on Twitter. I'll pick a winner. Okay, I'll make the science bit fast because we've said it loads of times. The reason that I don't get 3 kilograms of water when I react 1 kilogram of oxygen with 2 kilograms of hydrogen is that hydrogen and oxygen atoms are different sizes and masses. An oxygen atom is 16 times larger. It has 16 times the mass of a hydrogen atom. So if I have 2 kilograms of hydrogen and 1 kilogram of oxygen, I don't have twice as many hydrogen atoms as I do oxygen atoms. I've got far many more hydrogen atoms than I do oxygen atoms. So just like with the potato and the oil before, I don't need to use all of the hydrogen to make the water. There's going to be plenty of hydrogen left over. So the water I get isn't going to equal 3 kilograms. But that doesn't mean that I've broken the law of conservation of mass. All right? I've still got my 3 kilograms that I started with, but some of it is still locked away as hydrogen. Right? It's not difficult. Unless your name is Mary at Sea, Sheeps and Neeps, or Peter and Pete. In which case, just concentrate on washing your hands when you've been to the toilet. Okay? Then we move on to the electrolysis. We have discussed why the electrolysis of pure water is very difficult. You need a huge voltage. Water is a covalent compound, but it can dissociate into hydrogen ions and hydroxyl ions under large voltages. But those voltages are very, very, very dangerous and not energy efficient either. Why would we use huge amounts of energy to electrolyze water when we can put in a catalyst, we can put in an electrolyte? Now, if I put in sodium chloride, right, if I put in table salt, which contains sodium and chlorine, then all I'm putting into the water is sodium and chlorine. I'm not putting anything else in there. And yet, at one electrode, I get hydrogen. At the other electrode, I get chlorine gas, which I would expect if I put in sodium and chlorine. But at the other electrode, I get hydrogen gas, which I haven't put in when I've added the salt. And the solution that's left over is sodium hydroxide, NaOH, which requires oxygen. The hydrogen and the oxygen have to have been there to start with. Now, I've been banging this drum since this debate started, and I've mentioned it over and over and over again, and I am ignored over and over and over again. I know Peter and Pete, when I was on their channel, posted a comment to Sheeps and Neeps saying we're just ignoring conspiracy cats. Of course you are, because I'm making you look like a couple of cocks. I'm editing this out. Looks like I've been jizzed in the face by an elephant.